lie. Truth is not kind. You said neither am I. In the air outside, so sorry. Saying everything. Everything. All I want is to feel this way. To be this close. Feel the same. All I want is to feel this way. The evening speaks. Feel it sad. Nothing so cold. Closing the heart when all we need is to free the soul. We would be that brave, I know. Yeah, outside so soft, confessing everything. Everything. All I want is to feel this way, to be this close, feel the same. All I want is to feel this way. Evening speaks, feel it sad. And it won't matter now, whatever happens to be. Though the air speaks of all will never be, it won't trouble me. Be this close, feel the same. All I want is to feel this way. Evening speaks, feel it safe. Feel so close this way. Let it take, never say that all is so this way. I can feel it safe. All around the world, statues crumble for me. Who knows how long I've loved you? Everywhere I go, people stop and they say, 25 years old, my mother, God rest her soul. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. Yeah. Dance a little stranger. Show me where you've been. Love can make you hostage. Wanna do it again. There's no time to think about the starting or the end. We'll find out, I'm told. My mother, she told me so. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. I just want to fly. arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. I just wanna fly. Put your arms around me, baby. Put your arms around me, baby. I just want to fly. I just want to fly. I just wanna fly. I just wanna fly. I just wanna fly. Army with harmony. Dave, drop a load on 'em. OPP, how can I explain it? I'll take it frame by frame it. To have y'all on jumping, shower, saying it. O is for other, P is for people scratching the temple. The last P, well, that's not that simple. It's sort of like the well, another way to call a cat a kitten. It's 5 little letters that are missing, yeah. You get it on occasion if the other party isn't gaming. It seems I gotta start to explain it. Bust it. You ever had a girl that better on a nice hello? They get her name and number, then I'm feeling real mellow. You get her way today, she's what you wanna know about. Do you call up in this a girlfriend's or a cousin's house? It's not a front, a F to the R to the O to the A to the T. It's just a workers at a house. Oh, that's what she's hearing. It's OPP, some other people's, but you get it. There's no room for relationships, it's just room to hit it. How many brothers out there know this what I'm getting at? Who think it's wrong cause I was splitting and co-hitting that? Well, if you do, that's OPP and you're not down with it. But if you don't, you should never shit.
From Torrance, California, weighing in just over 250 pounds, just over. Let's just say 250 pounds. Rando, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever live episode. Live. I'm so nervous right now, guys. Oh my God. Live episode of the Homer Shot Fantasy Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for being a part of it. I have no clue how this is going to work out. I don't know if it's going to be awesome or lame. I don't even care, guys. I'm just so excited to be on this episode. And I got some people watching right now. Let me give a shout out to some great people. Tijuana Rap is in here. TJ, what's up, my friend? One of the top cappers out there. TJ, thanks for being here. Betting in Heels, Lady D, always got my back. I knew she was going to be here. Lady D, thanks for being here. We have Utah, which I believe is Betting Vegas 360. Thanks for being here, my friend. I got one of my best friends, David. It doesn't have his last name, but I know what David that is just because he said Rando so cute. What's up, David? That's David Alatorre, guys. He was on one of my episodes a few weeks back. David is a genius when it comes to fantasy football. He's the probably, other than me, I think he's one of the top guys to listen to when it comes to betting advice. And I know I got some other people in here. Feel free to go ahead and let me know who's here. We're going to get started real soon, guys. If you look behind me, I got my Angels picture up there. Guys, baseball is back. Hopefully. I believe it is, but hopefully things don't get all crazy. But baseball is back, guys. And I know we only get 60 games this year, but I'm going to talk about how that's going to be exciting. Think about the push for the playoffs at the end. Those last 60 games of the season, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be big. We're obviously going to talk football. We got something big that just happened. Superman, Mr. Cam Newton, is now on the Patriots. We'll talk about how that's going to go. And I really want you guys to definitely be involved. We have some watchers, some viewers right now. I hope we get some more in a little bit. But you're watching us on the Cappers TV YouTube page. That's mostly what I'm seeing. This is also streaming on the Homer Shot Fantasy Sports Podcast Facebook page. But I see most of you guys are up on the YouTube page. Oh my goodness! I think we already found out the best comment before I even told you guys. Guys, I'm gonna give a gift card. I got to be honest with you. It's that ice cream place where they sing and stuff when you give them a tip. What's that place called? I don't know, but I got a gift card there. I'm gonna give it to the first person or to the top comment. And Betting and Heels has really put it out there. I don't know what this show is turning into, but it's going to be pretty hard to top that right now. Betting and Heels, so far, you got the best comment of the day. It's going to be really hard to go ahead and top that. But thank you, Betting and Heels. She really wants that gift card to that ice cream spot that I forgot about. But somebody tell me, what's that ice cream spot? The one where you put $1 in the tip jar and they start singing and they look really miserable when they do it. What ice cream spot is that? I forgot. Not I'm thinking Creamer Street, but it's not Creamer Street. It's something else. Well, so far, Betting and Heels is winning that contest to win that gift card. It's gonna be pretty hard to top that, but you definitely can. Like I said, I got my Angels poster in the back. We're super excited about baseball. I'm gonna give away some more prizes as well. Cold Stone, thank you, David. Cold Stone, that's what it is. I have a $25 gift card to Cold Stone that I am giving to the best comment. I want somebody to try to beat Betting and Heels comment. That's going to be very difficult. All right. So I'm going to give away some other prizes too. By the end of the night, I want to give away a $25 gift card to the NFL or MLB shop. I also want to thank you, Vamos. I was thinking of running this year for president, but it's a lot of work, and you got to do a bunch of stuff, and it's really pretty hard to do my podcast if I'm the president of the United States. But thank you, I appreciate that. What was I saying? I'm going to give away a gift card to either MLB shop or NFL shop. It's completely up to you guys wherever you want that. I'm also going to give away a signed mounted photo of your favorite baseball or football player. It'll be a photo about this big. It'll be signed. I'll send it straight to your house or your P.O. box, whatever you decide. Thank you for the love, Giovanni Ortega. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. But by the end of the night, I'm going to give away those two prizes, okay? And I'll let you know how that goes. All right. So first, let's talk about baseball. Guys, who's stoked that baseball's coming back? Give me some love if you are stoked that baseball's coming back. I am so stoked. I know Betting and Heels is pretty stoked. If you guys saw that comment earlier, she's pretty stoked. If you know what I mean. Betting and Heels. Maybe you got a couple glasses of wine. So hey, that's cool if you do. But thank you for making my show more interesting. I appreciate that. I'm excited. Now, here's something we got to think about when it comes to this baseball season, guys. And a lot of you guys are cappers out there. We've got some of the best cappers right now watching me. Thank you. I appreciate that you guys are watching me. But when it comes to, I focus on the fantasy side of it, so fantasy baseball, but obviously goes hand in hand with betting. With the league the way it is this year, not only 60 games, but most likely there's not going to be any fans in the stadiums. People are going to be, nervous. People are going to be nervous about what's going on. Players are going to be nervous. Some players may not play. I think Matt Leake was the only one so far that said he ain't playing. But it's going to be different, guys. It's going to be really hard to bet on baseball this year. It's going to be equally as hard when it comes to fantasy sports. Well, maybe not as hard. Here's what I'm thinking when it comes to fantasy baseball. Any fantasy baseball guys out there? Anybody? Mac Attack jersey, nice. So when it comes to baseball, guys, a 60-game season. Think about this. Think about the 60 games in a normal MLB season. That's the last quarter, less than quarter of the season, guys. This is playoff stretch. This is going into the 102nd game of the season. These baseball teams are playing for positioning in the playoffs to get in the playoffs. They're playing for the wild card normally. Usually half the league, if not more, is going to already be out of the playoffs with 60 games left in the season, right? So it's crazy to think about what 60 games are going to do to you. If I'm going to bet on a team, if I'm going to bet on a fantasy player, I'm going to look at my studs, my go-tos. I'm going to look at the guys that I know produce. Obviously, Mike Trout, guys. This shouldn't be a homer shot. We all know that Mike Trout is the best in baseball. I'm looking at JD Martinez. I'm going to be looking more at Juan Encarnacion. These older guys that are more equipped to deal with this kind of season. All right, Judge, if he stays healthy, Giancarlo Stanton, those guys that have produced, that you know will produce, and even the guys that have been injury prone, guys, you only got 60 games. Anybody could stay healthy for 60 games, right? Let me see what you guys think. Okay, well, TJ, baseball is like this is going to be good one. Baseball is like the chicken tender that messages you and telling you she's going to meet up with you but never does. You won't believe until I see a first pitch. You know what? That's a good point. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's hard to tell what's going on. It seems like baseball is pretty locked in that they're going to start. I mean, the teams could report on tomorrow. I think it is, right? Tomorrow, teams report. You know, you never know, but something could happen. You know, people could get scared. Things could stop. We've seen, especially in California, we've seen us have our freedom back and then taken away right in a second. So I kind of see what you're talking about, TJ, with everything going on. You'll believe it when you see the first pitch. I'm right there. I'm right there with you. And then we already got some betting going on. So actually, when I saw this betting heels, I thought you were talking about. I thought you were saying the Yankees are going to start 1-10. That would be a pretty bold pick. But that's the thing, dude. Guys, think about this. Think about this in baseball. In baseball, you're allowed to have slumps because you have 162 games, right? 162 games in baseball. You can have a slump. You can go through a 2-3 week slump. But right now, in a 60-game season, you can't slump. So if you're thinking fantasy baseball, if most of you guys are playing fantasy baseball, you probably already had your draft, right? Don't get those dudes that slump. Don't get those dudes that you know will go 3 or 4 weeks where they're batting under the Mendoza line and they're not getting RBIs. Don't bet on those guys. Don't reach for those guys. Reach for the Trouts of the world. Reach for the JD Martinez. Reach for even the Springers of the world that you know, Altuve, as much as I don't like the little guy. Reach for those guys that you know will produce, right? One thing about Mike Trout, dude, if he goes 0 for 1, somehow he has 3 runs and an RBI and a stolen base, right? Look for those guys that you know will always produce and that will not slump. Let's see what we got. Mookie Betts is going to have a huge year from Utah. I do think he's going to have a huge 60-game year. I see that. Last year, even though some of those power numbers were down, the guy was still topping runs, right? He was still getting runs. And with that team, I do see Mookie Betts. He is a 5-tool player. He's going to get a lot of runs this year because if you think in LA, look at what's batting behind him, guys. You know I'm an Angels fan, so you know I go back and forth with my Dodger friends. But guys, they have just studs that are going to knock in Mookie Betts. And I think if we would have had a 162-game season, I think Mookie Betts would have flirted with most runs in one season because it's just all he has to do is hit 300. If Mookie hits 300, then he's going to lead the league in runs. And then Mookie is more than capable of hitting 300. We saw that in Boston, right? So I definitely see Mookie having a hell of a year. I'm not going to pick Mookie over the top. I'm not going to pick Mookie over Acuna. I'm not going to pick Mookie over Bellinger or Trout. But if I can get Mookie in one league, I actually have, we have keepers and Mookie's my keeper. So definitely a hinder shot. So David, what's that? I want to know what's a hinder shot? Is that where I got to sing like hinder, like lips of an angel, and take a shot. Please clarify what a hinder shot is. And all right, we already got some beef going. Betting and Heels are going to fight TJ. That'll be funny to see. Oh, you meant Homer. So I didn't say the Angels were going to win this year. I didn't say that. But I think that's going to happen. Guys, there's more playoff teams this year. The Angels could have a good 60-game season. Homer Shot. For all my Homer Shot Fantasy Sports podcasters right here. Happy Tuesday. Yes. Ooh, that's very nice. I'm still working on my bottle of Applejack from my last episode with Joe Madden. By the way, where is Joe Madden? Joe Madden should be in here. Let's see what we got. Oh, I love this. My Dodgers suck. That's good. I'm just going to read that first part, TJ. My Dodgers suck. And then that's cool. 3 more solid starters. You know, one thing about the Dodgers, I mean, some of their starters just come out of the woodworks and being able to have an ERA under 3. So I definitely think the Dodgers don't. It's not that they have studs. I don't think Kershaw is going to have a good year. I think a 60-game season benefits somebody like Kershaw because he doesn't have to put all that on his arm. So he's going to be more fresh. But I do think the Dodgers do have a very balanced rotation. So I don't think Kershaw. It's hard to say that Kershaw's trash. I think his arm is trash now this year. And Jansen, you know what, TJ? As long as Jansen isn't pitching to Mike Trout, he's good, right? It's just when he has to go up against Trout where all of a sudden he doesn't know how to throw a baseball. And that's not a Homer shot. That's a fact. Look it up. All right, what do we got over here? So you think Yankees, Dodgers, Braves, and Twins? I do think that's a solid pick. Those are all solid picks. I would love to know what the odds are. I definitely think the Yankees and the Dodgers are going to be there. And one thing you got to think about, guys, and we'll be moving on. We'll be moving on from baseball in a second. But one thing you got to think about this 60-game season, like we talked about the players. Some players will benefit from a 60-game season and some won't. It's the same thing with the teams. All right. Now think about this. There's always every year where those first 60 games, you see maybe the Royals competing. You see Toronto, Arizona. Somebody said Arizona is a sneaky or a long shot. So you see teams like that. You see Colorado having a good start to a season. If those teams could have a start like that, like they normally do, I would love to know. I wish I had it. I didn't, but I wish I had what the standings were in the first 60 games of last year. And think about how different it is. Colorado was in there. Arizona was in there. So teams could sneak in. And you never know what could happen in the playoffs. So I know I'm not really the better. I'm not the capper of the group. I'm the fantasy guy. But if I did want to bet on a long shot, I definitely would this year. I would. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I would put a bet on Toronto. I would put a bet on Arizona or Colorado, because if there's ever a year for that small market team to win, guys, this is the year. It's a 60-game season, and all this other crap that's happened to us, it's a real big equalizer, right? So I would put a long shot bet on one of the teams where you normally wouldn't even think about. Why not, right? If there's every year to do it, this is going to be the year. And, you know, baseball's that sport where it's hard for those small market teams to win. I mean, yeah, every now and then you get the Royals having the season they have, the 0-2 Angels. But other than that, I mean, small markets, you can't really bet on them too much. But this is the year to bet on a small market because we got 60 games. Guys, anything can happen in 60 games. If you want to put that long shot bet, go for it, right? What else do we have? All right. Yeah, you know, about this, TJ, I did hear a little bit about this. I mean, this just goes back to, you know, those athletes that always battle with addiction and battle with certain issues off the field issues. Definitely. What's it? So, oh, I get it. Because I look like DJ Khalid. Does that have anything with me being Arabic as well? I don't know. But thank you for making me, David. You're really trying to get that Cold Stone gift card. I appreciate that very much. All right, guys. So before we move on, any other talk about baseball? Let's hear it. Any other questions? This is a good one. Kershaw can only beat the Padres and the Rockies. Good point. But you know what? Even though Kershaw's had down years, his record is still good. You still could rely on him to get you the win. I just think we're just so used to Kershaw just dominating and destroying. We're so used to Kershaw being the Gretzky of pitching, the Mike Trout of pitching, the Jordan of pitching. We're so used to that we expect Kershaw to always be that. And I think now we got to understand Kershaw's not that anymore. But what puts Kershaw in as a Hall of Fame pitcher, and I'm telling you, putting him in the same category, I don't think he's better than him, but in the same category as Greg Maddux, is the fact that even though he's going through his down seasons, or like Nolan Ryan, again, I don't think Kershaw's better than either one of those two, but you can put him in the same category. Those dudes got older, they lost velocity, but they knew how to pitch. Randy Johnson too. They pitched until they retired, and I think Kershaw's going to do that too. But I think what we got to understand about Kershaw, when you think about Kershaw, it's a lot like if you think about Randy Johnson at the end of his career. The dude was still throwing 95 miles an hour, but it's a lot different than the consistent heat he was throwing. But you got to expect that. But the good pitchers will adapt. Roger Clemens did the same thing. Nolan Ryan is a perfect example. You lose your velocity, but you still know how to pitch. I mean, Greg Maddux did that his whole life. You know, Greg Maddux became one of the greatest pitchers of all time with the 86 mile an hour fastball, right? You gotta learn how to adapt. I think I saw a couple things. What about the Orioles? You know what? I would love to know what their long shot is to win. It's probably outrageous. But the Orioles, so I mean, again, they could benefit from sneaking into more teams in the playoffs in only 60 games. So they could benefit from that. You know, you never know. In a 60-game season, you never know what's going to happen, right? But you know, the Orioles, I mean, even if they did for some reason they went on a winning streak and then somehow made it into the playoffs, they're not going to be able to compete in the playoff baseball. Yeah, it's not even going to happen. Let's wait about 5 more years for the Orioles. Here's a good one. Thoughts on every team having a DH? Will it make a difference? You know what, guys? I'm not just saying this because I'm an AL guy, but the DH should be there. The DH should be there for every team. Being a pitcher is such a vastly different position. It's a completely different position. I feel like having a pitcher hit is like having Tom Brady play cornerback. You wouldn't do that, right? You wouldn't put him on defense. Why would you do that to a pitcher? I don't think pitchers should hit. I think it should be a DH all around. I think the DH is a great position because guys have longevity. That's why you see older guys moving to the AL because they could DH. It makes it more exciting. And guys, I don't know if anybody's ever pitched or ever played baseball. I pitched a little bit in high school, but I wasn't really good enough to really compete. But I do know, guys, pitching in itself, what you have to do to warm up, to get your arm ready after you're done, icing and cooling and all that. Guys, being a pitcher is such a demanding job to do. Why are we having them hit too? They don't spend time hitting. It's not beneficial. There's a risk for injury. Yeah, every now and then, you know, you see a Baumgartner home run and it's cool. But other than that, they bat less than 200. Why are we putting pitchers to hit when they have a completely different role on the team, right? You wouldn't put Saquon Barkley in at linebacker just because he's a running back. You're not going to do that. So I'm all about the DH going all around, and I hope after this season people see it and see how much beneficial it is. Imagine if the DH was in the National League, you'd have more competitive at bats. And like I said, you would have these players that could play until they're 40 because they're only DHing. Why not, right? What do we got in here? I think we're just about done with baseball. David, you'll be happy. We're almost done with baseball. All right. The DH does make a difference. I mean, what's more exciting as a baseball fan? Seeing JD Martinez hit or seeing Pryor hit? Like who's more exciting? Like, no, I don't know why I brought up David Pryor, but who do you want to hit? All right, everybody. Now, I know it's what most of you guys are into. Let's talk about the next sport. Let's talk about, are you ready? Korean baseball. Yes. This is what this is going to be dedicated to. Korean baseball. TJ, where you at with the Korean baseball, bro? I need you. Let's get some Korean baseball going, right? TJ's my man when it comes to Korean baseball. Tijuana, what's up? Who's the favorite to win in Korean baseball? Let me know. No, just kidding. We ain't gonna do Korean baseball. But before we move on to football, I would like to offer y'all something. All right. I'm feeling really lonely up here. All right. And this ain't all about me. All right. It may be my podcast, but you guys know I love to get people in here. Okay. And you guys are probably tired of seeing my face. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to offer anybody else, if they want to get on in this, the link is in the comments. Lady D, I expect you to get up in here. All right. My viewership's going to go way up the minute you put yourself in here. So if anybody wants to come in here, go ahead and click that link and get your fine self in here. I was just T1. I was just joking about Korean baseball, but and T1, I want to thank you when you and I were on the odds against us podcast. I love how you told everybody that Korean baseball is kind of like, I guess, like college football when it comes to favorites. Like you pretty much know who's going to win. The favorite usually always wins. So that's a good thing. So TJ, thanks for letting us know that. All right. So football. All right. Lady D, you want to get up in this? Go ahead and oh yeah, good one. Go ahead and get in here. All right. Lady D, I know you want to get your face in here. But Lady D says, what about the we're starting off football. The fine on the Patriots. I mean, what are we gonna say about this, guys? I mean, we've seen this over and over again. Well, I mean, what is it? What more do we have to do? Guys, the Patriots, they cheat, right? This isn't a conspiracy. This isn't banging trash cans. It's what the Patriots do, guys. I mean, I'm a Dolphins fan, and I have to see it every year. I mean, I don't think it takes away a lot. I don't think it takes away from how great they've been and how great Belichick is. But this is what they do. They find any way to win, and it is what it is. And we keep letting it happen, and it's going to keep happening. All right. One thing. You know what? That's a good point, Utah. But Belichick is too damn important to the NFL. There ain't no way that they would do that. That's a good point. That's what they should do. They did do it to Brady, but you can't do it to Belichick. And I'm a firm believer that Robert Kraft has so much pull when it comes to the NFL and the commissioner. It would be detrimental for the NFL to do something like that with Belichick. Plus, I don't mean to get more conspiracy theory here, but I definitely think that the NFL wants the Patriots to do well. I mean, the more you hate a team, the more fans that hate a team, the more money that team brings in, right? All right, everybody. I am so happy to introduce a good friend of mine, one of the best cappers that you'll find out there. Guys, he's not only good because he wins, but this guy is just a good dude. He cares about his clients. when the quarantine happened, he hooked up his people. He understood the tough times, and I absolutely love this guy. And I'm so glad that he's getting ready to come up on here. I want to give it up for Tijuana. TJ, what's up, my friend?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Hey, thanks for jumping on. I'm so happy that you did. How you feeling today? How's everything going?
Pretty good, man. Just flew back from Guadalajara. I was out there for 7 days.
Ooh, nice. All right, nice trip.
I got a new hat too. Check it out,
dude. That is. Why can't I recognize that? Is that a minor league hat?
No, it's Mexican League.
Oh yeah.
I got this tonight at the airport.
Oh, that's sweet, dude.
It's the Jalisco Charros.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right on.
No, man, I'm just here to I suck at fantasy football, so I'm here to get some advice,
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm glad you're here. So let's talk about fantasy football. Actually, everybody, TJ, I'm trying to point to him. I guess it would be this way. Yeah, This guy. Well, no, this guy right there. TJ is actually in the official Cappers TV Fantasy Football League that we have, and that league is a very important part of my podcast. Once that league starts, we're going to be talking about all the different waiver pickups that we've done, all that throughout the season, so that you guys could follow. And most importantly, guys, this is why I do this. I want to help you guys out with your fantasy league. I know baseball is cool. Everybody loves baseball, but when it comes to fantasy, we know that football is the moneymaker. So let's talk about it. First thing I want to talk about, TJ, and I'd love to know your opinion about it too, is Cam Newton going to the Patriots. The fantasy value of Cam Newton I could talk about, but really just the value of Cam Newton to the Patriots. And I guess as on the betting side, right, with now Newton coming to the Patriots, how does that change the way that you would maybe put a bet on the Patriots? Either they're over under. Actually, I'm not sure what that is, but if they're going to win. So I'd love to know, in your eyes, from the betting standpoint, TJ, how does Cam Newton come to the Patriots affect the way that you would bet on the Patriots?
Well, I mean, you think about the organization and anybody coming into that organization with what they have, or with the coaching staff and what they build around them. I mean, they can make anybody a winner. So I think that no matter who goes in there, the coaching staff is going to turn that player, into a player that they're going to basically make him better than what he was before, just by stepping foot in that organization. Because I mean, he's been struggling lately, but think about the division that they're into. I mean, I don't want to talk too much smack, but it's not the toughest division.
I do got to say, though, yes, but I do believe that the AFC East has some of the best cornerbacks in the game. If you think about Miami with Byron Jones and Xavier Howard, and then you got Patriots, you got Stephon Gilmore and Tre'Davious White with the Bills. I mean, that division's not going to be really that competitive. I mean, I think it's going to the Bills. But if you think about from Cam Newton's standpoint, he's going to have to go against some studs throughout the season. That might be difficult for him.
Were these Dolphin quarterbacks playing last year? I just remember a lot of high scoring games versus the Dolphins. Where Patrick had to come back. I'm just wondering if they were playing last year, or are they going to be starting this year?
Well, Xavier Howard was hurt last year.
Okay.
He was one of the top cornerbacks in the league. And then the Dolphins did pick up Byron Jones from, I believe, the Cowboys. And one thing about Byron Jones, his stats over the last couple of years against elite wide receivers, I'm talking Michael Thomas, I'm talking Odell Beckham, Brandon Cooks, and these elite receivers, they have no stats against them. I think the most would be like 2 receptions, 19 yards. So Byron Jones isn't going to get you a lot of interceptions, but he's going to shut down. He's going to shut down your receivers.
Now, do the Patriots have any weapons for Cam Newton, or do they have the same guys? Who if you could help me out with that, because I know you're more on top of that.
Well, here's the thing about the Patriots, and here's how the Patriots kind of balance their offense. The Patriots balance their offense with receivers that could get open and catch the ball, with big tight ends, Gronkowski, Hernandez back in the day, and then running backs that could go out and catch the ball, right? They balance out their team. So, and I said this a few weeks ago with Brady, is Brady doesn't, there's never other than Randy Moss, there wasn't that big, sexy target that you could always that you're going to go deep with. He utilized Welker, he utilized Edelman, two wide receivers that probably on any other team just would have been, maybe decent at best. So and then that's what Patriots gave him. When I think about Cam Newton, though, I think about what's going to benefit Cam Newton is he's going to be protected. And one thing you notice in Carolina, when Cam Newton wasn't protected, he went from a top-tier quarterback to nothing. He needs protection. So New England's going to protect him. And then if he can improve his vision and see the field better, I definitely think we could see a good season from Cam Newton.
I mean, I actually, if he's still pretty mobile, I mean, has he been mobile recently or not that mobile? What's he running? What's his average runs per game?
Well, if I could think back at his stats, he would average about 400 to 700 rushing yards a season, which is good for a quarterback.
But now he's coming off of an injury, right? So he may be hesitant to run.
That, and with Cam Newton's stature, right, Cam Newton has the body build of a linebacker, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a big quarterback. So when this dude is running with speed and power, the linebackers have been taking him out, right? You've seen so many helmet shots against Cam Newton. You heard a lot of controversy about how they hit Cam Newton compared to other quarterbacks. Well, this dude is huge, right? So I think after all the controversy about Cam Newton, getting hit in the head and being taken out really hard, I think that kind of freaked out his psyche a little bit, and he wasn't making as many runs or using that decision to run. And one more thing, once he got Christian McCaffrey in Carolina, his second option would have been to run, but his second option would have been, where's Christian? I'm going to give him the ball. So I think he didn't have to run as much once Christian McCaffrey got there. And you know how the Patriots love to put running backs back there that'll be able to catch the ball.
Yeah, like James White. James White was a beast. Exactly. I mean, he's still with them, right? I used to do a lot of prop bets with him.
Yeah, and the thing, I forgot what the exact number was, but I remember before Christian McCaffrey got to Carolina, Cam Newton ranked like last amongst all quarterbacks in completions to running backs, right? This was before Cam Newton got there, before Christian McCaffrey got there. So Christian McCaffrey, who I think is going to end his career as one of the best catching running backs of all time, or one of the most versatile running backs of all time. Once he got there, then Cam started going to his quarterback. So is he going to, or to his running back, is he going to keep that going? Because Cam's second option, I don't think is going to be running anymore. I think he's going to have to be able to dump it off.
And Edelman's still with the Patriots, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Joe, for your comment. But
Edelman, I had a feeling last year during the NFL season that there was some beef going on between Brady and Edelman because he wasn't throwing to him as much. And I only know that because we took him on a couple prop bets. He usually catches 7 or 8 passes, and his prop bet is usually over like 5.5 or 6 passes. And he would normally hit it, but for some reason he wasn't getting that many targets. So I don't know if there was some beef going on between them two, or what was going on. What's your take on the Edelman with Brady connections? Because he wasn't throwing to him as often during the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, Edelman still got his numbers, though. He still got his 1,000 yards and everything. But I think a lot of that had to do with, if you just look at Brady's numbers last year, I mean, the numbers were down as far as just, I'm sure just total completions were down. Brady wasn't having, the 5,000 yard season or flirting with 5,000 yards like Brady can do. He didn't have that huge season. So I just think just maybe just the volume alone. And I'd love to know how many targets Edelman had. I'm going to look that up now, but I just think it was just a sure volume was down in total. And I think because that New England defense was such a stud, that's what won them games last year, is that defense. Not
hey, Rando, I just thought of something that might work out for both of us, just to do it for the fans. I'm a big prop bet guy. You're a big fantasy guy. How awesome would it be if you and I talked for a few minutes before the primetime games and talked about a couple props here and there?
Let's do it. Yeah.
and we'll just send them out for free. You and I will talk about props. We'll look at the over under for catches and who's on defense, and you and I will just to get some people in here. We'll send out some free prop plays for the followers who are watching.
Dude, I think that's awesome. I'm game for that. Let's do it.
Because I'm a big prop guy, and I like to send out, one of my big guys. I'm a Raiders fan, as most of you know, but Hunter Renfrow, usually his catches are usually low, like over 3.5 catches or 2.5 catches, and Carr's always throwing to Hunter Renfrow, and I think he's a big weapon. He's going to be a big weapon this year as they go on into this next year. And their tight end was also a stud, but he kind of dropped off. Waller. Yeah. Kind of dropped off. He's a big target. He dropped off, but I'm thinking you and I, before a Monday Night Football game or maybe Sunday night, we could talk about some props, and we'll figure out the details. But be looking out for that, guys. Orlando, Tijuana, Raf,
awesome.
Props bets for the night, and then we'll give out. That could just be a little added thing to what you're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm. I think that's great, dude. Let's do it. And that's a good point, Utah. Edelman was being double teamed. But he still got hit. I think it was 1,100 yards. So Edelman still got his yards. But yeah, that could have something to do with it too. Was Edelman being double teamed.
So do you think Cam Newton or Tom Brady will have a better season statistically? That's a good question.
That's a great question. Question. Well, let's break it down. We talked about Cam Newton's path to success. If Cam Newton could be protected, I think that's huge. If Cam Newton could be protected and stay healthy, I think Cam Newton could put up close to 4,000 yards. Brady, it's so tough to say because Brady, when it comes to weapons, Brady has a lot more weapons than Cam. I think if Brady really connects with Godwin, somebody was telling me that they've been like practicing on their own. If Brady could connect with Godwin and connect with Evans, I think Brady's going to have a better season. If I had to bet on it, I would have to say Brady just because of the weapons that he has. And yeah, I got to say Brady.
Does he have a guy like James White too that he could dump it off to?
Ronald Jones, Rojo from USC.
Oh, there you go.
I did predict that that Brady was really going to target Rojo in the backfield. I think Rojo's got the raw end of the deal with Winston. I don't think I don't mean to dog on Jameis Winston, but I don't think Jameis Winston is not a smart quarterback. So I think his vision is terrible, which is why he throws 30 interceptions. So I don't think he was able to utilize Rojo the way that he was utilized at USC. And I think Brady now you're going from one of the I'm sorry, Winston, but one of the dumbest quarterbacks to one of the smartest quarterbacks. So I definitely think Rojo is going to benefit from that. So I will go reach for Rojo if I had to in fantasy football.
I know we're jumping around here, but you just did talk about interceptions. Another guy that's known for throwing a lot of interceptions that just made a big move is a guy that I hate, Phillip Rivers. I just think he has one of the ugliest throwing motions, and just I don't know. I think he's done. I don't think he's gonna do it. I mean, I just think he doesn't have it anymore. He's got a lot of intensity, lots of courage, lots of heart, but he's gonna throw a bunch of interceptions. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna win maybe 6-7 games at the most.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. And going back to what Joe and I talked about on the last podcast is I definitely think that he's got the raw end of the deal the last couple of years with the Chargers because he just wasn't protected. And Phillip Rivers is a kind of quarterback that if he does get rattled the way that he was getting rattled in LA and San Diego, that's when he starts making those dumb throws. So I do think he's going to be protected more in Indianapolis. I think that roster is a lot more balanced for him. You got T.Y. Hilton, who if he has the right quarterback throwing to him, he's a top 10 wide receiver easily. And then you got Michael Pittman Jr., who's a young guy. I predicted him to be the next Antonio Brown type wide receiver. So I definitely think he has all the weapons to be successful. But if he has the type of seasons that he has with San Diego, I think you're right. It's, you're not making the right decisions. You're getting too rattled. You're getting too emotional.
And just what do you think of his throwing style? Just how awful it looks. Looks like he's throwing a duck every time he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, well, let's just show this real quick. He's got 9 kids. He doesn't know how to.
That's perfect.
That's true. But I gotta say, 9 kids. His wife still looks great though. Let's give it up for Phillip Rivers' wife. She still looks amazing.
She's the real MVP, right?
Yeah, I definitely think. Sorry, Lady D, but I think we got the top comment of the night so far. So Darren,
that's a pretty good one.
Thank you. See if somebody could top that. I think with Phillip Rivers, it's a lot like, think about like baseball players with like terrible batting stances. Like I think it works for him. I think Phillip Rivers does have a problem where if he's rattled or if he's emotional, he'll start making those ill-advised passes. So I think if he doesn't get in his own head and really he has protection, I think he can still put up. I mean, he still puts up yards. He's a lot like Winston. No matter what kind of season Phillip Rivers is having, he's gonna give you like bunch of yards. So he's a starting quarterback in fantasy football. I don't care how many interceptions he throws. Just like Jameis Winston was last year. If he gets you 400 passing yards and 4 interceptions, you're still getting good points.
Which one of the up-and-coming rookie quarterbacks that you actually think is going to be starting would you pick up in one of the later rounds?
You're going to make me do this, TJ? You're going to make me say Tua?
Oh, wow. Tua, huh?
Ooh, that was a big one. No, I don't want to take a shot. So say that again. So are you saying this year in fantasy?
Yeah, my question this year is of the rookie quarterbacks who got drafted in this draft, who would you think has a good chance of which ones have a chance of actually starting, and which ones would you actually pick up in the mid to later rounds as a backup quarterback?
Easily Burrow, because Burrow would be a great backup quarterback, a great QB2 if you're playing in a league like ours, TJ, where you could start 2 quarterbacks. I mean, Cincinnati is going to say, Burrow, here's the ball, throw it. Get your feet wet. We'll try to protect you. Go out there, throw the ball. So when it comes to fantasy, if I had to pick out of the rookie quarterbacks, I mean, I'm going Burrow hands down. Even if Tua does start, as much as I want to say Tua, just with what's going to be given to Burrow, I mean, they're giving him the franchise. So I go Burrow for sure. I mean, he's going to throw a lot of interceptions, but he's going to get a lot of volume. Who's
going to start for the Chargers? Did you guys talk about that? Who do you actually going to start for the Chargers?
You know what? That's really tough. And I'd love to hear if Joe Madden wants to get in this. Joe Madden, I'd love to because you are the resident Chargers fan, and I do want to make you take a shot. So Joe, if you want to if you want to jump in, I'd love to hear what you think.
That's a good question. Just to see who she thinks is going to start, because they have Tyrod. They have, what's the new guy's name?
Well, they got Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert. So I think in the long run, Herbert's going to be a good quarterback. I mean, he showed it in Oregon. I mean, he's got great balance. He's smart. But I think it's going to be hard to say, because at first I was thinking Herbert because they want to get people in the stands. They want to get people at the game, right? But I think to have a chance to win, you got to get Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is going to give you the best chance to win right now. And it's not like the Chargers are picked to be dead last. I mean, they could compete. They're not like, completely out of it. So the Tyrod's shown that he could win. Tyrod has shown that he could play football and not make mistakes. And I think that's huge. He's not going to get you big points in fantasy. I would not draft him even as a backup quarterback. I'm not touching Tyrod Taylor, but I think he has a better chance of success than Herbert. So I think the Chargers will go with Tyrod Taylor, but the leash is this big.
But you said that the Chargers are not picked to place last when they finished in last with Phillip Rivers last year.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the projections, they're not in the Redskins and the Redskins territory. You know?
Okay.
I mean,
I thought you meant not. What about in their division? I mean, they've gotten a little bit weaker.
The Chargers could easily be second in that division. I mean, I know you're a Raiders fan, but I'm
realistic, man. I don't think the Chargers nor the Raiders will be second place.
Well, in their division, I'm saying.
In their division.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying, I'm not saying the Chargers are going to do anything. I'm saying their season isn't completely lost, you know?
And they're not as bad as like the Redskins, basically.
Exactly. So their season's it's not a throwaway season. If it was a throwaway season, then yeah, they go.
Who's the worst team next year? Who's going to win 1 or 2 games?
I have to. I keep leaning Broncos.
Really?
I just think Locke is just garbage, man. I think Locke is terrible. But I mean, the safe bet would be the Redskins. They're still rebuilding. So Redskins. I'm not gonna say the Bengals because I think the Bengals are gonna go on a run towards the end and maybe end up with maybe 5 wins, or the Jets. Just because I have hatred towards the Jets. So
just because you don't like the Jets, nobody likes the Jets.
Yeah, exactly. I think Adam Gase is a terrible coach. I think Adam Gase knows how to. I think Adam Gase knows how to just run a team to the ground. To be honest with you,
I know some big Jets fans that just hate the organization, hate the team, and they hate what's going on with the team. Like that, like you said there, that the coach and the general manager needs to just sell somebody else.
Well, I mean, I watched Adam Gase for a couple of years. He was terrible. Just his decision making. He doesn't. In Miami, there was nothing but controversy in the locker room, and there's so much going on. Gase is terrible. He's terrible for the Jets. And the Jets already didn't have a good foundation. I love Sam Darnold. But he's not going to be successful in the NFL, especially with limited weapons. I mean, I just think the Jets have a long way to go to compete. That's the way I'm thinking about the Jets. All right, what else do we got? Joe, you still in here? I want to know what you think about the Chargers.
Hey, so just a random question. You don't really care about kickers too much, do you? I only ask this because kickers, are kind of important in fantasy football. So what's your take on kickers?
Yeah, well, kickers, I mean, here's the thing is you're never going to get more than 10 points with a kicker. So a kicker is really important in those close games. What I always like to do, honestly, this is my thing. I'm not saying this works or anything like that. I usually get the kicker on the same team as a quarterback that I have. It's just more of like a thing for me, like, oh, I got an extra point, because he scored a touchdown. But really, when it comes down to it, what you're ranging from 4 points to 10 with the kicker. Every now and then you have that big game, where the kicker has 5 field goals, but that's not common. So I usually wait till either the last pick or the second to last pick. I'm
just taking some notes down so I could steal your kicker once I see which quarterback he takes. Thanks for that little tidbit there.
That's more of just like a thing for me to, more of a psychological thing.
I was just asking because I don't know if you knew, but I played as a college kicker, so I have some kicking experience.
Oh, right on. You play soccer too, right?
Yeah, I was mainly a soccer player. I was actually headed to play soccer at college, but I dislocated my shoulder, so I ended up taking the football scholarship instead of the soccer. The soccer scholarship didn't work out anymore because I got hurt. So I ended up playing for the University of San Diego Toreros, which is a NAIA division, Division 2A school. So we played against teams like Brown, Yale, Dayton.
Oh, that's great.
Some of those Ivy School teams. But yeah, I kicked for 4 years there.
I'm surprised there's not more soccer players in the NFL kicking. I know there's some, like Arroyo and a couple guys, but I'm really surprised there's not more.
I mean, it's all mental. I mean, that you could be the best kicker in the world, but if it gets into your head, you shank. That guy that they picked up, I think a couple of years ago. I forget which team it was. If it was the Redskins, supposed to super stud in college, ended up choking in NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think it wasn't it Arroyo? Is that the one? That's the one that was.
He did choke. I can't remember if it was with the Redskins, but I do remember he was. But that's the thing with kickers, though. I mean, it's totally psychological, like you said. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have a kicker miss a big kick. It doesn't matter if he made the last 30. If he misses that big kick and you lose, that's all you remember.
And it's a shitty job because if you don't hit 9 out of 10, you're fired. And I mean, you missed. In baseball, you can hit 3 out of 10 and you're a legend, but you miss 1 or 2 field goals, you're cut.
Yeah, he was drafted by Tampa. That's true.
And they expected big things from him. They drafted him pretty early, and he ended up being a bust.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's still around though. He's in some training camp with somebody.
Yeah, but that's the thing about kickers is all psychological. I'll never forget Pete Stoyanovich was a kicker for the Dolphins back in the day, and he was money all the time and solid. But the one year
was he the kicker? Was he the kicker on Tecmo Bowl?
He was, yeah. He was on Tecmo Bowl at the time. And somebody might correct me, a Chargers fan may correct me, but I believe it was 95 or 96. It was the Dolphins and the Chargers. The year the Chargers went to the Super Bowl against the Niners and lost. I think that was 95. It was the Dolphins and the Chargers in the divisional round to go to the AFC Championship. And I remember Stoyanovich came up, the most solid kicker that you had. He came up and wide right. And then from that moment, I mean, that's all I thought about when I thought about Stoyanovich. Not all the amazing game-winning kicks he had, but that one game that stopped us from going to the AFC Championship. So that's a lot of pressure on a kicker.
And then you had the only kicker. I mean, there was a couple kickers drafted in the first round, but the last one was Janikowski. He had a long run there with the Raiders
for a long time. And that dude just drank beer and smoked cigarettes the whole time.
I met him once before, actually, the day before the Raiders played the Super Bowl in San Diego. I was living down there, and I was working as a security guard, so I got to meet all my Raiders. It was one of the greatest days ever. I got to meet Janikowski, too, because they had the meeting. It was
at the time?
It was at Qualcomm Stadium when the Raiders last played a Super Bowl 2002 versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if you remember.
Yeah, that was both of Gruden's teams playing against each other. That's
exactly, and that was horrible because that was when they had Rich Gannon, they had Tim Brown, they had Jerry Rice, they had remember Romanowski. I got to see that.
I remember that dude was big. He had the neck protector too, like Byron Cox. That just made him
exactly
scarier. Yeah, that dude was awesome.
Dude, he was the beast. But I was working security right outside the door, and I got to shake all the Raiders' hands. It was great. But then I just got to watch them the next day get their ass kicked.
Yeah, that was that was one of the last Super Bowls that wasn't really that exciting. I remember after that, there were so many exciting Super Bowls after that. But this is a good Utah. What are your thoughts on Kyler Murray? Is he a good pick for fantasy? So Utah and then Giovanni is gonna agree with me here. If you've been listening to my past podcasts, I've been so high on Kyler Murray. Not only because I think he's talented, but with his second year, I mean, Kyler Murray, the fact that he has Hopkins this year, I think Kyler Murray is just gonna go crazy. I'd be happy with Kyler Murray as my QB1. And I forgot what his overall ADP is, but is as far as ranking in quarterbacks, I think they have him like the 6th or 7th quarterback going. If you could time your draft right, go ahead. I would say reach a round before whatever his ADP is. Go get Murray that round before, because with Murray you're going to get a lot of points. He's kind of like a poor man's Jackson, because he's going to get rushing yards and everything. So I'm high on Kyler Murray. Reach for him. That's the way I feel about it. And I've even hearing people even say that he's MVP category this year, which could happen. I mean, I got the in my last episode I talked about I think the Cardinals are going to win that division.
Do you know when we're going to have our draft for our little league that we got going?
Yes, it's the it would be the Sunday before the league starts. So
okay,
I'm going to actually
it's going to be a little late, but
yeah, I like to do them late because if any injuries happen in the preseason, we're even able to see preseason games and everything. So I love doing the drafts right before we start, so we have all the information we need.
One thing's fact is that you can count on at least 4 or 5 of my players getting hurt that I draft every year. Every year I draft, and at least 4 to 5 players, especially the running backs, get hurt. So if 2-1 drafts a running back and you got him, I'd say watch out, he's going to get hurt. Same thing with quarterbacks.
You could help out too.
Yeah,
you could make a podcast saying, "Hey, don't do what I do."
Yeah, if you pick up any of the guys I just picked up, just be ready for at least 5 of them to get hurt. So,
Giovanni thinks the Saints are winning it all. Hey, that's who I picked. I picked the Saints. Just going through week by week, like I did last week. I don't think there's any team strong enough to keep up with the Saints. I think Minnesota is going to be there. I think the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs. I see Arizona being there, but I don't see anybody taking down the Saints this year. But see, the thing about the thing about the Saints is you always have that freak occurrence that may happen. That's gonna, Stephon Diggs catches the ball and your season's over. So you never know. But I am picking the Saints this year. Who you got, TJ?
I mean, I'm going with the dark horse. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. They're going to be up there.
Hey, Titans! You know what? I picked them going 13-3 this year. I don't know if you saw that last week.
I think I did. Yeah, I like that. I think I would pick. I think they're over winning for the betting side of it to win over 10 or 11 games. I would pick the over on the Titans based on their schedule.
Well, I just think the Titans. There's no weakness on that team. I mean,
running back's a beast, huh? And then you got that coaching staff.
Yeah. I'll say, you're like echoing what I said last week. Totally. Like it's great coaching staff. And I know I had a lot of high praise about Tannehill, but if Tannehill is put in the right position, and I'm talking about like the right position because he's a system quarterback, I think he's gonna do great. Not huge numbers. I'm not saying go ahead and draft Tannehill in your fantasy, but I think for what Tennessee needs, I think Tannehill's going to be great for that team. He's going to be protected. He's going to have a solid running game. He's going to make the right decisions because he has time. Yeah.
Now, what do you think of those storyline finishes? Since we're just talking about who might win it all, I heard somebody say that the Patriots are going to win because they're USA African American quarterback on the Patriots. To bring the country together. Mm-hmm. Cam Newton and the Patriots, USA African American. I heard that from somebody talking about storylines and things like that. So,
well. One thing, no matter what, this has nothing to do with Cam Newton or anything like that, but the Patriots winning ain't going to bring anybody together.
because everybody hates the Patriots, right?
I am a proud American. I love red, white, and blue. I'm a patriot myself, but when it comes to the Patriots in football, you might as well be calling them a communist. I don't care. I am not. That's not going to bring us together. I mean,
who's the team that you hate the most? Is it them or the Jets?
See, Bills. It's the Bills for me because the Bills' hatred runs deep into my childhood because that's when the Dolphins and the Bills were having those big rivalries like Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. And those names really piss me off.
That was one of my favorite teams on Tecmo Bowls.
No, your favorite team was in the Raiders. You had Bo Jackson.
No, I actually played with the Bills on Tecmo Bowl. Andre Reed, BB.
Yeah.
Receivers. Thurman Thomas.
Was really good in that game. If I could, but the Jets hatred, it's more about the New York fans, but it's more about the fans that really bother me with the Jets. And the Patriots, it's like, I hate you, but you are really good, and I hate you because you're good.
Because they always win, right? Just because they always win.
Yeah. Yeah, but I would definitely say the Bills just because that runs deep, and especially this year they're supposed to take it all. People are saying they're going to win that division, and I even picked them to, but I would love it if they don't.
What's up? What's up with what's his name? The running back for that left the Rams. I'm trying to blank here right now.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
he's done. He's washed out. Not even
his,
a top 10.
his knee's done. I mean,
Yeah.
they killed him in LA. They played him when they shouldn't have. Yeah, I think, and then when they saw that Gurley was done, they didn't even put him in the big games. I mean,
How disgusting was that Super
Yeah.
Bowl, huh? 3 points. That was one of the worst things I'd ever seen.
well, I mean, if you know that you got who was the leading rusher in the league not too long before that, and you're not going to play him in the playoffs or the Super Bowl, they knew he couldn't do it. So I think I'm thinking Gurley is a lot like RG3. I mean, he just got so beaten down that even though he's talented, he doesn't have anything left. So I'm not. And what team is he on? The Falcons now? I think it is.
I don't even know where he went.
David, correct me. You know what team he's on. Yeah, I think he's. I think he's done his. Yeah. So I'm not even reaching for Gurley. I don't think.
Raiders running back Jacobs is going to be solid.
That guy's a beast, and you know about I'm not a Raiders fan, but Gruden knows exactly what he's doing, and that's what I told my my good friend who's a huge Raiders fan. Any Raiders fans out there? I told him when Gruden first got signed to that huge contract, that long contract, I said he's going to do things that's going to piss you off and piss the fans off. Just follow him. Just he knows what he's doing, and I think Jacobs having Gruden as a coach is just perfect. And I think I picked him as a top 10 running back this year. I'd reach for Jacobs if he's in the second round. I would love him as my RB2 if I could somehow go out and get a top running back, and then in that second round, if he's there ain't nobody else I'm going to take in that second round if Jacobs is there.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on what you're saying about the Raiders and John Gruden. Mm-hmm. And I give them about 2 years to 3 years that they're going to be contending in the playoffs. Just mark my word.
Oh yeah,
they're going to be contending.
I mean, just look at how they're drafting. They're drafting right, and then them getting rid of getting rid of Khalil Mack. At first, people were trying to crucify Gruden for it, but we're going to start to see, that was smart. I mean, we're already seeing it, right? I mean, with what they got from it, and
even if they just even if 1 or 2 of the receivers that they get steps up with Hunter Renfrow and with Waller and with Jacobs, I mean, you're talking some studs right there. You're talking a stacked team when you have Jacobs, Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and if 1 or 2 of their new receivers steps up and becomes a weapon, I mean, he's got Derek Carr's got a lot of options. I have mixed feelings about Derek Carr. I think he's decent, but I don't know. I don't think he has what it takes to take him to the playoffs and anything further.
Are you more of a Mariota guy or what?
Oh hell no, Mariota's sucks. Mariota's trash.
Mariota is the epitome of a system quarterback. Mariota needs to have the exact right team for him to be successful, and that's the thing about those Oregon quarterbacks coming out. Not Herbert. I'm talking about Chip Kelly, Oregon. I'm talking about like that fast, high-powered Oregon offense. It was great in college, but we're seeing a lot of those guys who were great on that Chip Kelly team. I mean, never really panned out in the NFL. I mean, Chip Kelly himself didn't pan out in the NFL.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm surprised Mariota did as well as he did. To be honest with you. I think it's a success. If he looks back at his career, you got to say that was a successful career, even just stopping now, considering what he came from. So yeah, I'm all about Carr. Before that devastating injury he had a couple years ago, he was putting up numbers. So I think you could get back to that.
Yeah, it just sucks to see a guy like him have that devastating injury.
Mhm.
That's a big injury for a lot of players, which it changes their whole mindset. In the pocket.
And I think it was prime time too that it happened. Or it was a prime time game, I think it was.
Yeah, I don't know if I remember. I mean, I've been a Raider fan since I was a kid, and it's just been tough. But I still follow them. I'm always there.
Mhm.
Following them. And the one thing that I figure here's one thing that I hate about the Raiders is that the penalties are still there, even
Yeah,
though they got Gruden. They still
always
always leading the league
yeah.
in penalties, and you would think that they would be disciplined enough to not go off sides, not do a
Mhm.
false start, not do a holding, but it just every year it's like they're cursed or something. But that stadium's looking nice, though. I don't know if you've seen that. I was hoping to go to that stadium
Oh
for
yeah,
the one of the
actually,
preseason games, but it
I
looks.
forgot to
I
tell
don't
you.
think we're gonna have fans there.
You know what? I forgot to tell you. I actually have a replica version of the stadium.
Oh, really?
Let me show
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Hold on. I have a replica version right here. Look at. See, it's right there. This is
That is
no.
special edition.
That
You get-
stadium does look way badass though. And if there could be fans in the games this year, the weekend of December 26th, it's either going to be a Saturday or a Sunday game because late in the season, they are playing the Dolphins. So if you want to make a trip to Vegas, I'll meet you there.
Hey, I'm only a 3-hour drive away. You're in LA too. You're not that far.
Oh, I didn't know you were here. Which part of LA?
No. I say you're in LA. I'm
Yeah.
usually down in Tijuana or out here near Palm Springs. So
Oh, yeah. So you're close too.
yeah, I'm not too far from Las Vegas, and I actually wanted to go with some buddies to the very first game in that stadium, which is going to be a preseason game. I figured why not go to the very first game ever in that stadium, even if it's a preseason game, because the tickets are cheaper. But
Mm-hmm.
you can actually say that, and it's going to be on a Thursday
Mm-hmm.
versus I think the Arizona Cardinals, but it doesn't matter. Actually, tickets for the preseason game were only about 150, $200.
Mm-hmm.
And the actual first game at the Raiders Stadium, the actual home game, the tickets are $1,000 for the cheapest one.
Wow.
So screw that.
Actually, I'm not surprised to be honest with you. And that's actually
But
understandable.
to go to a preseason game, I still would think would be pretty badass,
It'd be
especially
fun,
since it's
dude.
going to be at that stadium.
It's Vegas.
And you could say you went to the first game ever played at that stadium.
Exactly. And they're going to give you some sort of like ticket or something to remember or something like first ever game or something. So
I have it marked on my calendar on a Thursday, so I'm going to go for sure with some buddies for the first preseason game at that stadium. So I'll be there if they allow fans. If they allow fans, it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, we'll see. Take some pictures. But you see what David said down there?
Oh, there you go.
You got me.
Screenshot. I just screenshotted that.
David is actually he lives in Vegas.
Okay.
So that's David Alatorre. He was on, I think, my second episode. He's in Vegas. So it's screenshotted. It's forever on YouTube, David. You got my ticket because right now the cheapest tickets for that game is actually about $300 for that Dolphins game on the 26th. And I'll tell you guys, you may not see the Dolphins being like the cool team to follow, but man, the Dolphins crew, we roll deep to these games, man. You should see. I know there's no tailgating in Vegas, but you should see when we tailgate, we take over that parking lot. We did it against the Rams a few years ago. We did it against the Chargers a few years ago. Our tailgates take over. So
everybody takes over Chargers games, so that's nothing to brag about.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this year at that stadium when they do play the Raiders. I mean, that stadium is going to be black and silver. I mean, it's. I kind of feel bad for to be honest, I feel bad for the Chargers. I mean,
every game that you go to at that stadium always has fans from the other team taking over. And like I said, I moved to San Diego when I was 18 for college, and my hatred is deep versus Charger fans just because they're annoying down there in San Diego. And I went to a lot of games at Qualcomm Stadium when the Chargers were there. and the majority of the games were sold out to more of the opposing fans. I'm talking about Green Bay, Vikings, no matter who came into town. I mean, it's a transplant city, like, so you have people from all over there, but the Chargers never could compete against any fan base at their own home games. And now they're playing in a soccer stadium, and it's depressing for them. And then they get to become the Clippers of the Lakers at the, at the new stadium. That the stadium is designed like the Rams logo, yet the Chargers are going to be playing there. I mean, when fans are allowed to come back, that 70,000 stadium is going to have probably about 30 or 40,000, and they're all going to be opposing fans. It's going to be sad for the Chargers. It's going to be funny.
Yeah. Is that coming from you or me?
No, it's not me.
It's coming from me. Oh, sorry. Oh, there you go. A little background music there. There we go. So what I was going to say. So I was at the first game, the opening game, when the Chargers came back to LA. It was against the Dolphins, and we absolutely took over StubHub Center. I mean, and it's the Dolphins. Like, we took over StubHub Center. You could go back.
It's a nice little venue, right?
It's nice great. Like, I see Galaxy games there all the time. It's a beautiful stadium.
Are you a Galaxy fan?
I am. I don't follow soccer as much, but I do love the Galaxy. I knew a few of the players. They were clients of mine back in my old job. Juninho, Jossie Zardes is from the same city I grew up in, so I got to meet some of the guys. Just cool people.
Those games are fun. I'm a big LAFC fan, so we're rivals.
I haven't been to that stadium yet.
Okay,
I really want to.
You need to meet me out there one of these days for one of those games.
Let me know. I'd love to see it.
Fans.
Yeah. So Giovanni Ortega is saying, what do you guys think about he's talking about CD Lamb? I'm all in on CD Lamb. I mean, I'll draft him if he's there at his ADP. I think Prescott's the perfect quarterback for him to be able to get him the ball. He's fast. He's an Oklahoma guy. I think he's going to have a great career. And I think if Cooper has the kind of season which I think Cooper could have, Cooper is going to draw a lot of attention. And if CD Lamb, even this rookie year, if he's guarded, if he's one-on-one, I mean, all Prescott needs to do is just put the ball in his hands. So I'm definitely in on CD Lamb, and I think he's going to have a great career. I think a lot of the running backs that came out of this draft are gonna have great years. I think we're gonna look back 5-6 years from now and think about this draft was a draft of the wide receivers.
You talk about Mr. Overrated Dak Prescott over there.
You know what? I kind of think he's overrated. I don't think he's worth what he's getting. But here's the thing about Dak Prescott: you pick up Dak Prescott, you put him on any other team, he's not Dak Prescott. That's the difference between a system quarterback, and that's the difference between your top tier quarterbacks, your Drew Brees, your Tom Brady, your Patrick Mahomes. You could pick them up, put them in any other team. They're still Patrick Mahomes, still Drew Brees. I think you put Prescott in any other team. Just think about it. Prescott's always had a stud offensive line. He's always had Zeke Elliott. He's always had, up until I think last year, Witten, who for a young quarterback to have Witten there, he doesn't need to catch a bunch of balls, but you're stuck. Your receivers aren't open. Just throw the ball at Witten. He's going to catch you the ball. So I think Prescott's been given a lot rather than, doing a lot for the team. So
yeah, basically he's got a lot to work with to only give you an 8-8 record. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Exactly. So I don't think he's worth $31 million this year.
No, he's not. And also, I just don't think he can even get it to his weapons like Cooper. Cooper was open quite a bit. I don't know. I don't think Prescott. He's in my lower tier quarterbacks when I list quarterbacks, and I look at the Cowboys finishing up 7, 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cowboys 7-8-1, one tie.
I could see that happening with the Cowboys because the Cowboys are gonna lose that big primetime game towards the end of the season. I mean, the Cowboys are gonna be the Cowboys. I just think Prescott has too many weapons to not be a good fantasy quarterback. But like I said, you put Prescott on any other team, he's not Prescott. I mean, that team was just. I just think a lot of people. We have clouds over our eyes because we don't realize that Prescott was being put in the perfect scenario for him to do well in Dallas. So maybe he is worth $31 million to the Cowboys, but as a quarterback, I mean, put him on any other team and he's Kirk Cousins as far as the rankings of where he would be.
The Cowboys is one of those teams that is kind of being run by the owners and not the coaches.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I know a lot of Cowboy fans who just basically tell me that every Cowboys coach is basically a puppet, and Jerry Jones is running the show, and that's why they're not winning.
Yeah, and he doesn't hide it either. I mean, but what really shows with why Prescott, I don't think is a top tier quarterback, and Romo, although I think Romo was a more talented quarterback than Dak Prescott. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate from Cowboy fans, but I think Romo is more talented than Dak Prescott. But Romo is in the same category where when it comes down to, okay, Romo, okay, Prescott, you have to win this game. You have to win this playoff game. That's when it really shows. And that's why you see the Cowboys as the Cowboys. They either miss the playoffs by a game or two or they're out in the first round. That's why Prescott is Prescott. Yeah.
How about them Browns?
You know, the Browns, I think they're always fun to watch. I think they're going to be fun to watch no matter how well they do. I know there's a lot of hate on Baker Mayfield. I have a soft spot for Baker Mayfield. I think he's talented. I mean, just look at him. Just look at what he did in Oklahoma and look at his rookie year when he was confident, when he was happy. He came out firing. It was big and everything. And the minute he got rattled and all that controversy came around him, and I think, and I said this in the episode with Joe, is you have like alpha personalities on that Cleveland team. You got Baker Mayfield, big personality, outspoken. You have Odell Beckham Jr., big personality. He dances with the netting right when he did and all that. And you have Jarvis Landry, who's outspoken. You have three huge personalities where if you're winning, that's wonderful. If you're losing, it's detrimental. So that's what I feel about the Browns. I would love to see the Browns do well, to be honest with you. I watched a lot of the games last year. I was rooting for them to do well. So I just think it just really depends on everybody's head on that team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and those Browns-Dolphins games are always fun to watch too.
Hey, some of the games came a couple years ago. That game came down to a missed field goal, and the Dolphins won that game.
Yeah,
that was actually the year they started. I think they started 1-3 and actually made the playoffs that year. That was actually a decent game.
You mentioned Witten earlier. Isn't he on the Raiders now?
Is he? I thought he retired. Is he still?
I think he's going for one more year. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's on the Raiders. You throw another little weapon in there.
Well, yeah, and oh, you're right. Yeah, he is. So the thing about Jason Witten is you don't need him. I mean, just his presence in a locker room is going to be great. You know, and then even if he gets 400 yards and 40 receptions, 20 of those receptions are going to be huge.
Yeah, if you put him up for what, like 6 touchdowns in the season, 6 or 7. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't draft him. I wouldn't put him in my top 10 tight ends. I wouldn't really look at him as far as fantasy, but I just think as what he does, what he does for a team, I think Witten is great. I mean, for any team, just having him there,
So yeah, Rando, let me know. I'm gonna have to sign off here. I got to do some studying for my Mexican soccer. Mexican soccer is also, that's my top #1 sport. That's coming up here soon in July. But I've been on a hot streak with European soccer, so I got to go do my homework for tomorrow's plays. But thanks for having me tonight on your show. I appreciate it, and let's give the fans a little nugget, maybe one day a week with some prop bets. We could do a little short 25, 30 minute show and talk about some prop plays, and you can help out.
I'm honored to do that with you, dude. Thanks for thinking about me.
That would be awesome, man. Thanks, Rando, for having me.
All right. Love you, man.
Next time I'm on, I'll take some shots with you.
All right. Later, man. Thank you.
Signing out.
Thank you, TJ. All right. Well, that was I'm glad he got on. That was TJ. If you look him up on Instagram, Tijuana Raf. Great capper. I mean, you saw him yourself. Just a great guy. I mean, just a great guy. And David's getting me a little bit of hate for talking good about Witten. I'm talking about he's great. Not that he's a great tight end this year, but he's great to his team. He's great to have. He's a great mentor. So I think that just about concludes it. I was hoping Lady D would get in this because of her comments earlier. I'd love to see how she's feeling, how if baseball is still on her mind. Lady D, one last chance. You want to jump into this, let me know. If not, I think we might sign off. Before I go, anybody got any last question or anything you guys want to go over? We've already been on for an hour and a half. I thank you everybody for hanging in there. Most of you guys chatting right now have been here from the beginning. So if there's anything else you want to say, let me know. Lady D, your last chance to jump in here if you want. But thank you everybody for being here. The top comment. What was that top comment? I think that was from let me find the top comment of the day. I love to be able to give that comment to Lady D. But this is also a family show. So I'm not sure if I could. Thank you, Lady D, for that comment. But this is a family show. Where's that one comment I liked? What was the one comment I talked about? If anybody remembers it, let me find it. Give me a second because I'm about to give away that gift card. All right. Let's see. Where is that comment that I like so much? It's in here somewhere. There we go. Darren, are you still in this? Darren, sorry if I get your last name wrong. Nastachi. If you're still in this, you get the comment of the night. So PM me on either Instagram, Rando_Homer Shot Podcast. PM me. Give me your address or PO box. I'll go ahead and send that over to you. Let's see. We still got a question. Rivers plus protection wins. Yes, I definitely think so. I'm glad you agree with me, David. If Rivers has protection, he's all right. Great, Darren, you're here. So I see you're on Facebook right now. So go ahead and just PM the page you're on. Just send me a message. Tell me where you want me to send it. I'll send it to you. Darren, thank you for participating. That was a badass comment you made. It was perfect, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and send you that gift card to Cold Stones. I'm gonna throw something in extra there for you. Okay, I appreciate that very much. Now also I am gonna give away an NFL.com or an MLB.com gift card to the person that can answer this question. I have 9 people watching. Hey, no, thank you, Darren. I appreciate you, Darren. Please make sure you follow me on Facebook and on Instagram, Rando_Homer Shot Podcast, and make sure you subscribe to the Cappers TV YouTube page too. I appreciate that very much, Darren. Thank you. God bless you, and thank you for your support today, man. I am going to ask a question. First person to comment the answer gets a $25 gift card to either NFL.com or MLB.com. And the question is, now one of my all-time favorite baseball players is Nolan Ryan. One of my all-time favorites. He was my dad's all-time favorite pitcher. Dude was a badass. There's one game where D-Money. Oh, you're D-Money. Oh, sweet. Thanks, D-Money. All right. Nolan Ryan's one of the most badass, toughest pitchers of all time. He had an epic fight against somebody. First person to tell me the name of the brawl that Nolan Ryan had, or the name of the person he had the brawl with, will get a gift card. Who did Nolan Ryan? Whose ass did Nolan Ryan kick? And then pitch the next pitch with the bloody nose. D-Money did it again. Oh, Tijuana Ralph, right? Wait, no, was that Tijuana? That came. Oh no, that was Tijuana. Sorry, Tijuana got it. TJ, who was just on. TJ, my friend, Boom. It was close. You and D Money did it at the exact same time, but TJ, your comment got there first. Sorry, D Money. That was like right at the same time. So TJ, Robin Ventura. I actually have a picture. I wish I would have had it ready of Nolan Ryan ready to take the next pitch with the bloody nose. Yes, that was Robin. That was Robin Ventura. All right. So TJ, let me know where you want me to send that gift card to. Let me know if you want it to be NFL.com or MLB.com, and I'll go ahead and send that to you. Just how to PM me, TJ. So just let me know where you want to send that to. Last one. It's going to be a signed mounted picture of any MLB or NFL football NFL player or I got a couple shots, guys. Excuse me, but any MLB or NFL player that's available. If you say Robin Yount and it's not there, I can't get it to you. But just let me know for this next question. Let's make it a football question. All right. Let's make it a football question. Let's see. Let's make it a question. Let's see. Let's do this. What? All right. Drew Brees, who I love. I've loved Drew Brees since the beginning of time. I think he's one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time. He's one of the greatest guys of all time. So who can tell me? Drew Brees, who could have been a Dolphin. He could have been a Miami Dolphin. What college did Drew Brees go to? First person to tell me what college Drew Brees went to wins an autographed picture of any MLB or NFL football player. Drew Brees, what college did he go to? I hope we don't have to look it up, but D Money got it. He was a Boilermaker, Purdue. Yeah. All right. So D Money, I'm gonna send you two things. Make sure I get that address. TJ, let me know where you want me to send the card, and let me know if you want a baseball gift card or an NFL gift card. I think that concludes it. Thank you guys for watching. This was my first ever Homer Shot Fantasy Sports Podcast live. So thank you guys for doing that. Hey guys, let me tell you something. I know I only got a few more people watching. You guys have hung in there since the beginning. Let me tell you something, guys. Let me get a little personal before you guys before you guys back out. Just hear me real quick, guys. I have this thing that I do is a passion. I love sports. Every time I put on this USC hat, anytime I go to an Angel game or I'm watching sports, I think about my dad. I think about everything my dad did with me as a kid, going to games and everything. And by the grace of God, my dad's still healthy and still very active in my life. But he was the guy, that rooted for the Trojans every day, that rooted for the Angels and the Dolphins and the LA Kings and the Lakers and everything. It was him. And so every time I talk sports, I watch sports, I think about the times I spent with my dad. And Dad, I don't know if you're watching or not, but I love you. And you're the reason why I love these sports so much. So for me to be able to do something like this, man, it's like a dream, man. It's like me playing shortstop for the Angels. It feels that way because I get to come up here and I get to talk sports. I get to tell you how I feel. And some of you guys, although I have a small following, man, you guys have just been just amazing. Vamos, TJ, Lady D, Joe Madden, David, D Money. I know I'm missing some people. Surviving Sports Picks, Cappers TV, my sponsor. I mean, you guys have been amazing to me, and I love you guys very much. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get big or ever going to get popular. If you ever see me on NFL Network, I would love for that to happen. But if that ever did happen, and I'm telling you guys this, if that ever did happen and I ever got any sort of fame or prosperity from this, you bet your ass I'm going to come back to this live stream, to these first episodes I ever did. I'm going to look at everybody who gave me love in this chat, and I'm going to remember you. I'm not going to forget you. And I love you guys so much, and thank you for allowing me to to do God's gift. I do believe God has a plan for all of us, and his plan was for me to be able to come out here and do something I love. You guys have made that that dream a reality for me. David, you're one of my best friends, and thank you for your support. Lady D and Joe, you guys are some of my closest friends right now, and you guys do everything for me. TJ, a new friend of mine, I love you very much. D Money, your support. Vamos, your support. I know I'm missing some people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I did. And Cappers TV, man, Cappers TV, they put so much trust in me, and I appreciate that very much. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching. Let me just do a few plugs before I go. Follow me on Instagram, Rando_Homer Shot Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the Cappers TV YouTube page and the Cappers TV on Instagram. Please make sure you do that. Cappers TV on Facebook and Homer Shot Fantasy Sports Podcast on Facebook. Please follow Betting and Heels and the Joe Madden. They have the Odds Against Us podcast. Please make sure you give them love. Please watch those podcasts. They do live podcasts on this same YouTube page. If you need to make some money in betting, Tijuana Raf, he's the guy. Look at him. Also look at Surviving Sports Picks. Bob Moretti. I don't know if he's watching right now, but that guy's one of the nicest, God-fearing guys. Please look him up. But I appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. And we'll see you next time. Fight on. And fins up.